Hi everyone, my S. Rob. Well, I have applied for the cut of the most banned author. I'm already the most banned occult author, okay? But I applied for Guinness. Guinness won't accept these sort of niche records, these subject-specific records. I don't see that they would accept it. So I'm trying for the most banned author in history, the most banned author ever, the world's most banned author. 748 books banned. The problem is, of course, that when they ban books and they've removed them from every website on the internet won't take them, there's not much actual way you can prove it. I've got some proof. I put the proof forward for the newspaper articles and things like this as proof. And they've been investigated for 3 months. They both take 3 months to do it. It's been over 3 months now, so I should be hearing back word pretty soon. Don't know about this one. I think I am the most banned author. I think it's obvious when you've got 748 books banned on every site, every book site on the internet, the basis speaking, that's more banned than anyone else. However, I do think proving it to Guinness, who won't know me from a hole in the ground, is going to be difficult. That's the problem. I suppose if people who have seen it, that know how many books I could see and could look at it and say, yes, there's this many. The problem is, though, is that you see the books that are published through traditional publishing companies still exist. That is the problem. It was the e-books that were removed and some of the paperbacks. So they've all been banned in one way or another. But the problem is, if you go to Amazon.com, there's 523 books on, because there's books on there that there's paperbacks on there, and paperbacks that were published by publishing companies that exist on there. And it was my e-books that were banned. Books aren't necessarily banned universally. Sometimes it's just one version that's banned. Okay? Get out multiple bans and things like this. So that's what we're looking at there. And that's why I haven't put much stuff out lately. It's difficult when the bans are everywhere. It makes it tricky. But also, if I start cracking out 50, 100 books or something, it's going to bugger up the world record. I'm not going to get the world record because I'm going to crack out a load of books. It's going to make it look bad. If there's loads of books, they say, well, these are the books that you thought said were banned, but no, they're a different lot. It doesn't work out. It doesn't make it easy for them. It's not an easy job for them to prove that when they don't know who the hell I am, which they won't. The Guinness Book of World Records will not know who the hell I am at all, any way, shape or form. I know that. There's probably not an occultist in the entire place, so they won't know who I am, which is fine. It happens. So that's the state of play. But honestly speaking, this has brought up a subject as well, and that was it was getting difficult to produce more books. I've got 750 now. I've also got the Long Grimoire, which is the longest occult book ever written. So I've got that's 4 world. If I get this other one, it'll be 4 world records. I'm the most prolific occult author in history. The most banned occult author. Author of the Long Grimoire, the world's longest grimoire. And forget this other one also be the most banned author in the world, full stop. That's 4 world records. There was a 5th one. That was a person who appeared on the most book covers. Because I beat the Guinness World Record holder, Jason Backer, but they removed him when they found out that mine was more. But I think there is a woman out there who's done more book covers. And I'm not getting into this thing of male and female titles. As far as I'm concerned, male and female world records, we all compete fairly and evenly. And if there's another person out there, she's got that world record, I'll have the other 4. That's fine. No problem with that. I haven't got a problem with that at all. This current total for book covers stands at 663 different books, is what it stands at the moment, which is a good number. It's a very good number, that. But as the band, everything, it's difficult to prove anyway, so it's a little bit tricky. But I think that's actually on articles. There's articles you can start to prove it through articles with that. So that's got that as well. But, in the future, I'm probably going to move on to different things. It was getting difficult to write more books when it was 750. I don't want to get to the point where I'm writing more books just because I was banned or just because to write books, Because honestly speaking, although 1/3 was lost, there's still about 514 books, or more than about 514, that go into the Long Grimoire. So there's still 2/3 of material some are left out, but 2/3 of it in the Lundgren War. And if you look on the internet, there's still things on pirate sites and stuff like this and all over the place. And there's still paperbacks. There's still a lot of paperbacks available. Okay. I do really think in the future it's probably going to be paperbacks, not ebooks. But people like the ebooks. I like ebooks, but it'll probably be paperbacks in the future. And I don't know how many books is going to be, whether I'm going to write more, how many more I'm going to write, but per year. I was thinking of moving into different things, maybe courses or stuff like that, or possibly into art, into using occultism into art, like mixed media things and stuff like that. And that's, I'm just an idea at the moment. It's just an idea. And things like that, using the occult in situation in things like that, rather than books. Because I've got to be honest, I know I've been criticised for people for writing so much. So yeah, right, if you hadn't wrote as much, you had a longer career. Well, actually, I'm not certain about that, because a lot of things are happening right now. There's a lot of authors being taken off Facebook who are occultists, have been removed from Facebook. So I'm not sure I would have had a longer career. The thing was, if you look how long a career I had a 12, 13-year career. Most professional authors are lucky to have a career as a professional for 3 years. That's a long career. So I've had 4 times the length of career of everybody else, the average anyway. I've wrote a ton of books. I've wrote far more books than I would have done that way. And to be honest, I made more money that way than I would have done. If I wrote less, I would have had a longer career, but I still think I'd end up with less books out and making less money. So it's been a win all round. Because when people look back in history, if I never wrote another book, they're not going to say, but it only lasted 12 years, because authors don't always necessarily last that long. What they will say is, look at the impressive body of work he's left. That's what I think they'll say. Which is a good idea and a good thing, That's what I think they'll say. So we'll see what happens. I'm not putting out against writing more stuff. I will write more stuff. It's just, I'm not sure exactly where I'm going to go from here, to be honest. It's a bit tricky because of it's not so much the ban. That's part of it. It's the amount of stuff and the fact that it's, I've shocked so many people that some people won't have anything to do with me, because it's always all shocked. People who want like advertising, copyright and stuff like this wouldn't go near me because I've shocked them too much. I've been too edgy, which is basically all I did was do my job properly. I think I pointed out I did my job properly. My job was not to pandy around to the people who were shocked at everything. If you're writing stuff and you don't shock anybody after you wrote 748 books, then it's not worth writing in the first place. You're going to shock people when you write that many books. People are going to be ill approve of it. They're not going to approve of everything, because people will disapprove of something anyway. Anything you do, someone's going to disapprove of it. It doesn't matter what it is. There's no way around that. It's just when you do a lot of something, you get traction. I'm sure it's the same for people who have done, I've done quite a few videos, but people who've done a lot of videos will get that problem where after a while it'll be, this isn't right and that's not right. And all. It just happens. It's just the way it works nowadays. It's it. It's how it goes. So that's fine. And I was thinking of moving more into art, maybe doing mixed media and things like this and stuff like that for galleries, and we'll see, or whatever. We'll see how that works out. It's just an idea, really. I don't know how that's going to work, whether people are going to be receptive to it or not to any degree. If I get something out there, I'd be happy. Just to get something, that would do me well. I'd be happy with that. I'm still doing spell castings. I do spell castings for people. I'm going to do some spell casting videos. I haven't done another one yet. I'm going to do another one of those and get some of them done. But basically speaking, that's it. It's just a matter of, doing the work and bringing what I can, the skills I have, and the occultism I know, into different areas, I think, now, rather necessarily than just doing the writing. Because that was what was going to happen anyway. People don't realise this, but actually, that was the future anyway. That was going to be the future plan. Because originally I wanted to get to 1,000 books, and I realised it was going to be tricky because it was going to be doing stuff just to get to 1,000 books. I didn't want to be in the situation where I'm producing stuff just to hit a number. If I hit 1,000 books, great. I've done 750 now. There's the ones came out. 750 books. If I get to another 250, that's great. but I'm not going to try to do it in just over like a so many years or a shorter time as possible. I don't want to do that. I just want to do what I want to do and to try and produce more good work for people in all sorts of areas, and that's it. That's all I want to do. And like I said, I applied for the World Record. I applied for it about 3 months ago, the most banned author, and it takes 3 months to assess it. It's been over 3 months now, so hopefully I'll be finding about it quite soon. The only problem is it's going to be difficult for them to verify, I would have thought, to their standards. I've got things. I think I've got things on newspapers and things like this which can help verify it. But honestly speaking, I think it's going to be difficult for them to verify because I don't think the companies will play ball. I don't think the companies will want to give me a world record for them being arse wipes. I don't think they're going to want to do that. They're going to follow through and being asked for it all the way through and not give me one because that's who they are. That's not a job. That's not these people doing. I'm doing my job. No, you're not. You're being an arse wipe because there comes a time when you got to draw a line. You say, no, I am not a frigging book burner. I will not burn books. I'm not going to burn books like Saddam Hussein, Adolf Hitler, Alexander the Great. You know, I think they've all done all these dictators. Pol Pot. They've all burned books. You know, I'm not going to be when you see I'm not going to be an Adolf Hitler and burn books. And you draw a line. If you don't, at the very least, you're an arsewipe. Because civilized people don't burn books. It's not something civilized people do. It's like when you're a kid and you're in the 80s and ran out of toilet paper. Use the newspaper because the newspaper gets thrown away. You don't say, there's a lovely book of William Shakespeare. Wipe your ass on that. No, you don't, because civilized people don't do that. Civilized people do not wipe their bum on William Shakespeare. They don't wipe their bum on any book because it's a book. And that is the important thing. Civilized people don't do that. And the people who had dealt with this, who did this, were not and are not civilized people. My name's Ask Rob. Goodbye.